Welcome to this last part of Module 1 of the Sauti Yetu Digital Civic Education Manual. In the last section, we looked at citizens, rights and citizens' power as stipulated by the Constitution of Kenya 2010. In this section, we shall be looking at the limitation of rights and fundamental freedoms. A limitation clause enables constitutional rights to be partially limited to a specified extent and for certain limited and democratically justifiable purposes, while prohibiting restrictions that are harmful to democracy by reason on their purpose, nature, or extent. A right or fundamental freedom in the Bill of Rights shall not be limited except by law, and then only to the extent that the limitation is reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on human dignity, equality, and freedom, taking into account all relevant factors. These factors include the nature of the right or fundamental freedoms, the importance of the purpose of the limitation, the nature and extent of the limitation, the need to ensure that the enjoyment of rights and fundamental freedoms by any individual does not prejudice the rights and fundamental freedoms of others, and the relationship between the limitation and its purpose, and whether there are less restrictive means to achieve the purpose. Despite Clause 1, a provision in legislation limiting a right or fundamental freedom. In the case of a provision enacted or amended on or after the effective date, is not valid unless the legislation specifically expresses the intention to limit that right or fundamental freedom and the nature and extent of the limitation. Also, it shall not be construed as limiting the right or fundamental freedom unless the provision is clear and specific about the right or freedom to be limited and the nature and extent of the limitation. And, additionally, the provision shall not limit the right or fundamental freedom so far as derogate from its core or essential content. The state or a person seeking to justify a particular limitation shall demonstrate to the court, tribunal, or other authority that the requirements of this article have been satisfied. The provisions of this chapter on equality shall be qualified to the extent strictly necessary for the application of Muslim law before the Qadhi's court to persons who profess the Muslim religion in matters relating to personal status, marriage, divorce, and inheritance. Despite Clause 1 and 2, a provision in legislation may limit the application of the rights or fundamental freedoms in the following provisions to persons serving in the Kenya Defence Forces or the National Police Service. Article 31, right to privacy. Article 36, freedom of association. Article 37, freedom of assembly, demonstration, picketing, and petition. Article 41, labor relations. Article 43, economic and social rights. And Article 49, rights of arrested persons. Despite any other provision in the Constitution, the following rights and fundamental freedoms shall not be limited. Freedom from torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Freedom from slavery or servitude. The right to a fair trial and the right to an order of habeas corpus. We have come to the end of the first module of the Sauti Yetu Digital Civic Education Manual. Please assess your understanding of this section by taking the following quiz. Remember to join us on the next modules, which will be out soon. Bye for now.